Trifecta by Dean Pearl. Chapter 14. Wednesday arrived and Wesley was acting like a high school girl, being all nervous about her first date with Ben. She was wondering if she should be open and a little aggressive with him or just be chill and let him make all the moves. She was making the questions open to her sister, who had just finished giving a lesson to a few of the girls from the Pahrump casino they played. I would think that perhaps, given his lifelong wealthy status, that he might be more responsive to the chill approach, at least until you know him better. You don't want your eagerness to be too obvious. Let him work for it, Leslie advised. If he wants you, he'll let you know. In the meantime, I'll just be over here being jealous because I don't have a date. Leslie pushed out her lower lip for effect. I'm sorry, sis. Should I ask him if he has a brother? Wesley laughed guardedly. Just what I need, Leslie shot back. Another brother I'm probably not supposed to sleep with. Both girls laughed at Leslie's remark, but Wesley knew her sister well, and she knew that Leslie really did have more than just brotherly feelings for Max. Wesley could see it in the way she would look at him when Leslie thought no one else was looking, and the way she just phrased her last sentence was a bit of a warning. Probably not supposed to sleep with, left a lot to the imagination. Once they got home from the dojo, Wesley went upstairs to shower and get ready for her date with Ben, and Leslie decided to give Max a call and see if he had any plans for the evening. Maxie, it's me. What are you doing tonight? Leslie tried to sound upbeat. Hadn't given it much thought, Max replied. Why? What do you have in mind? Isn't Wesley going out with Ben tonight? Yes, she is, Leslie responded sluggishly. I'm not used to being home alone. How about if I come over with a pizza and we can watch a movie or something together? Max hesitated just a second before responding. Sure, that'd be great. I was just planning on hanging out and you'd be some welcome company to play with. Maybe a board game or a movie. He was getting the feeling that Leslie wasn't used to being alone much, and he did always enjoy being in her company. Sometimes a little too much, he thought briefly, as he recalled how enamored he was with Leslie the first time they met, and they'd only gotten closer since then. But the whole being related thing just kind of squashed any relationship type feelings he might be harboring. He also knew that he was looking forward to just the two of them hanging out together, something they rarely did and never for very long. Cool, Leslie said excitedly. I'll get a pizza and come by as soon as Wesley leaves. Great. See you soon. Max told her as he hung up and decided to jump in the shower. As Wesley finished dressing, she went downstairs to get the okay for her choice of outfits from her sister, whom she counted on for honest assessments. She walked slowly down the steps so Leslie could soak it all in as she strutted teasingly along the staircase. Well, what do you think? She asked Leslie. Too much or not enough? Wesley eyeballed her up and down, noticing her sister had chosen to go with a black miniskirt and 3-inch closed-toe heels, paired with a bright red V-neck sweater and a push-up bra to show off the girls. Her black hair was flat-ironed straight and quite a contrast against the bright red sweater and matching bright red lipstick. Wow, her sister exclaimed. If I wasn't your sister, I might want to do you myself. Leslie laughed loudly as Wesley joined her. What are you doing tonight? Wesley asked Leslie as she sat next to her on the couch. I'm going to go over to Max's place and we're going to watch a movie and eat some pizza, Leslie informed her. Oh, good, Wesley said. I'm glad you won't be sitting around bored without me. She giggled. Will you come home this evening? Leslie wanted to know if her sister was planning on any kind of overnighter. It's only our first date, Wesley said, as though aghast. So of course I won't be home. Wesley broke into a loud laugh, causing Leslie to do the same. Once her sister left for her date, Leslie poured herself a glass of wine and went upstairs to get ready to go to Max's house. She already had a shower at the dojo after work, so she started rifling through her closet for something to wear. It started to feel like it was her who was going on a date, the way she was picking out her clothes. She had to admit, even the one glass of wine was making her feel a bit reckless, and she tried on a dozen things before settling on a super tight, very thin pair of medium blue leggings and a gray Angora loose-fitting sweater with no bra that showed just a hint of her nipples under the super soft cloth. She brushed her hair, put on just a little makeup, and ordered a pizza to go from their favorite spot, making sure to get what she knew was Max's favorite toppings, sausage with extra cheese. Max heard the doorbell and went to let Leslie in. Did you bring the ZA, Max's abbreviation for pizza, as he moved aside to let her in? Sure did, she assured him as she walked by with the box. You got the sausage? Max teased. I thought you were the sausage boy, Leslie laughed. Yes, and extra cheese, too. I can't wait. Max sniffed at the air as his eyes caught the sight of Leslie's nipples poking gently against the soft Angora sweater that were a bit at attention from the cool night air. You sure are looking hot tonight, Max complimented as he took the pizza from Leslie and walked it over to the coffee table in front of the big screen TV. Thanks, Leslie said as he took the pizza. I see you didn't bother to get too dressed up for our date. Leslie teased at the loose sweatpants and Beatles t-shirt Max was wearing casually. Should I change into something nicer, Max asked, not sure how serious she was. No, silly, I'm just playing with you, Leslie insisted. This is just a play date, right? She laughed loudly. I brought the pizza, so you buy the drinks, Leslie told him. As Max got up to prepare beverages, he asked Leslie what she wanted. Beer, wine, maybe a soda? What are you having? Leslie inquired. Well, with pizza, I usually have a couple tequilas and some beer. It's an awesome combination, he stated. Then I'll have that too, she said confidently. Sure, why not? Leslie giggled. If I get too drunk, I can just stay here, right? Of course, Max assured her as he got up to get the tequila, some shot glasses, and a couple beers. Max poured 2 shots and opened the cans of beer. He held up his shot to Leslie and said, Here's to our first night alone together. It immediately sounded pretty flirty to him, but he figured she would just shrug it off. Leslie drank her shot, coughed a little, and said, Well, I hope you know I don't usually go all the way, holding up the empty shot of tequila on the first play date, as she broke into laughter, pulling Max at ease. They had one more shot before starting to eat the pizza as Max picked up the remote and turned on the TV. He had forgotten that the last thing he was watching the night before was a porno channel that he used to relieve himself of an orgasm. He had stood up to get 2 more beers for them before the picture had come on all the way, and Leslie was sitting wide-eyed on the couch watching Caligula as he entered the room. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, Max exclaimed as he went right for the remote to change the channel, but she stopped his hand from grabbing it. What? Leslie said, intrigued. I've never actually seen a porno movie before. Can't we watch a little? She was starting to feel a bit lightheaded from the beer and 2 shots of tequila. Max was rather embarrassed, but sat down next to her and leaned back as they watched the movie. What's the plot in this? She asked, curious as Caligula was chasing his sister around half naked. It's supposed to be an X-rated documentary about the Roman Empire and the Emperor Caligula. He was the one that helped bring down the fall of the Roman Empire. Max explained as Caligula was chasing down his sister and finally caught her and began having sex with her, while Max was turning a bit red. No, wait, Leslie said suddenly. That's his sister he's having sex with. Suddenly a bit embarrassed. Max grabbed the remote and changed the channel. Maybe we should watch something else for a while, Max said as he flipped to a different station. But Leslie's curiosity was piqued. No, I want to know more, Leslie insisted. Supposedly Caligula had sex with all 3 of his full sisters, Max informed her. It was also pretty common in ancient Japan and Korea to have sex with and even marry half-siblings. Wow, they never taught us that in history class, Leslie giggled. I'm sure, Max replied. Leslie sat up straight and looked into Max's eyes. So what would you say if I told you I wanted to have sex with you, Maxie? Max started stuttering. Well, it's not so accepted here in America. People wouldn't understand. I'm not even sure I understand. But I love you, Maxie. Leslie was getting emotional from her buzz. I know we'd be perfect together. She scooted closer to Max, who was pretty nervous about how Leslie was acting, although he dared not to admit that he was actually as lustful towards her as she was for him. He had just never actually considered it, as he figured it a taboo. Leslie reached for the crotch of his sweatpants to realize that Max already had a formidable erection from just discussing the situation. She squeezed his manhood firmly and tugged at it as she moved in to kiss him deeply on the mouth. Max kind of froze for a few seconds, wondering what to do. It felt too right, yet so wrong at the same time. Leslie got a bit giggly as Max removed her hand from his crotch, but she suddenly steered it towards her breast and held it there as she swooped in for another big wet kiss. She suddenly sat up straight and said, How about another shot? Max laughed lightly. I think you may have had too much already. Oh, come on, Maxie, Leslie implored as she grabbed the tequila bottle and just took a big swig, then just fell back onto the couch and passed out. Leslie, Max whispered, are you awake? There was no response, but she suddenly rolled on her side a bit and let out a snore. Well, we know who can't handle her tequila, Max smiled as he said it softly. Max stood up and carried her to the spare bedroom where he removed her shoes and pulled back the spread and sheets to tuck her in. She appeared to be in a pretty deep slumber as Max decided to crash himself. He went to his room and got undressed down to his boxer shorts and climbed into bed. It seemed like he had only been asleep for a few minutes and was just dreaming when out of nowhere he suddenly felt a mouth on his manhood giving him oral sex. It took a minute to realize he wasn't dreaming, that it was actually happening as he lifted the covers to see Leslie completely nude between his legs pleasuring him. He wanted to stop her, but it felt so good he just couldn't. He laid back and was enjoying what she was doing as she suddenly crawled up on him and lowered herself onto him. She was so turned on it happened in just one easy move and she was riding him slowly and deeply. I know you're awake, Maxie, Leslie whispered. I want this and so do you, so just let it happen, okay? Max was too buzzed and it felt way too good to try and make her stop. He flipped them both over so he was on top as she pulled his face down to kiss him as he penetrated her deeper than anyone had before. And she was loving it so much she began having her very first sex orgasm. It was nothing like masturbating, she thought, as she let out a loud moan and cried, I'm coming, Maxie. This also put Max over the top as he grunted, me too, culminating in a series of hard, deep thrusts, filling her vagina with his semen for several seconds, until Max finally rolled over and onto his back. They both laid there catching their breath until Leslie rolled over on her side to look at him. I love you, Max, and I want it to be like this every day, Leslie whispered. Suddenly she said, Oh God, I hope I don't get pregnant, it occurred to her. Don't even worry about that, Max smiled. I had a vasectomy years ago so I wouldn't accidentally become a dad with some one-nighter. I knew long ago I didn't want to bring any children into this world. Awesome, then let's do it again, Leslie exclaimed. Max shrugged his shoulders and said, Why not? We've gone this far. As he rolled over and they began deep kissing again and had a repeat round of intercourse, after which they both fell asleep in each other's arms. The phone rang. Max looked at the clock and it was almost 2 a.m. Hello, he answered. Max, it's me, Wesley. Hi, Wesley. How did your date go? Was it fun? It was wonderful. Listen, is Leslie there? She's not here at home and I was worried about her. Leslie opened her eyes to realize Max was talking to Wesley, so she remained silent. Yeah, she's here, Max answered. We had a couple drinks watching a movie and she got too tired and fell asleep on the couch. I figured she was too buzzed to drive, so I just covered her up and let her sleep on the couch. Oh, good, Wesley responded. So I'll just see you guys tomorrow for our trip with Ben to the Lotto place. Yep, Max assured. When is Ben picking you up? He's already here, Wesley laughed as she was whispering something to Ben. Oh, you naughty, naughty girl, Max laughed loudly, causing Leslie to wonder what was so funny. Okay, then we'll swing by about 10ish. Is that okay, Max asked. Wesley said something muffled to Ben and then responded, Great, we'll see you then. Take good care of my big sister, Wesley laughed. And you tell Ben to take good care of my little sister, Max responded, laughing before hanging up. As Max hung up, Leslie wanted to know what was going on. Apparently, your sister and Ben are on an extended date. They're both at your house. Of course, I told her you got drunk and fell asleep here, but we'll meet them in the morning. But you can't go and tell what happened between us tonight. That may be a good idea, Leslie agreed as they moved into a spoon position to go to sleep.